have a wonderful day to all of you wherever you are watching us on Nstv Lagos. We are broadcasting from our Abeokuta office here at the Central Business District of Abeokuta on one very interesting program specifically designed for the physically challenged, a group of individuals, human beings that in this part of the world, particularly with governors and government, have, to say the least, been very disappointing. They will tell you most times, all the times, it is disappointment on disappointment. We call the program Outlook. My name is Dele Ayodo. I have a very interesting guest with me this morning. Very interesting. So, in actual fact, we may have to do this in parts because the 30 minutes may not be enough for the man they call Emperor. Yes, Emperor, to tell his story. Morning, Emperor.
Good morning, my brother. How are you, sir?
All right. Let's start from you. Tell who you are. Who is Emperor, so that the viewers can begin to follow the story.
Yeah. Good morning once again. Emperor Adeyinka Adekunle is a Nigerian from Abeokuta, precisely Owu indigene, both father and mother. I was born some 60 years ago to the parents of Mr. and Mrs. Adekunle, all of Owu indigene, as I've rightly said in the beginning. I started my life in the north because I was born there. So I grew up in the north before I finally retired home. That was sometimes in 1977. I attended so many schools due to transfer because the nature of the job of my dad, he used to be transferred from so many parts of the country. So that did not allow me to have my education in a straight row. So I have we visited so many states in Nigeria before I ended up in Ogun State. So after my secondary school, I had the opportunity of going for a professional course in general agriculture. After the course, I was unable to establish on my own. So I later changed my course to another business. Then I went into this windscreen of a thing, windshield, for the vehicles. So that's what I did for a living for a very long time. Before the 23rd of April year 2005, I was just coming back from my place of work, and I decided, and I could not see clearly again. I was seeing the atmosphere was somehow blurred, but I managed myself home. When I got home, I called on my physician, my eye specialist, to explain to him what I'm experiencing.
You were already in your 30s at that time?
My 40.
40s, yeah.
So I told him what I'm experiencing. So he said I should see him because it was a weekend, it was a Friday. So he said we should meet at the hospital on Monday, which I did. So on getting there, he checked on me. After cross-examining, he said I have to go for an operation. That's a surgery on the eye.
Emperor, before then, because I want those who are following us to understand the story, was there any sign? Because the way you are telling the story is like it happened suddenly.
No, it wasn't a sudden occurrence.
Okay. So what are those signs?
Before that day, I already had a cataract on my left eye. Okay. So I've been managing the right one. So, but I have a specialist that I visit for the upkeep and update of the eye on it. So that's why I have to call on him. That same day I saw that strange occurrence. So that's when and I went for the operation as requested, the surgery. So after the surgery, I came out for observation. After the observation, it remains the same. So the doctor has to tell me to go home for the next 2 weeks and come back. So on my arrival the second week, he also checked on me. He now told me that they have to do another round of surgery operation on me. Unfortunately, they don't have the equipment for that. He said I should be planning to go to either Kaduna or Lagos. Looking at the proximity of Kaduna and where I stay, I'm staying at Ibadan then. I said I should go for that in Lagos. So I went for that in Lagos. When I got there, they also diagnosed. What they gave me was, they said I'm having a retina detachment. So, and they also recommended a surgery that will be carried on. So I did not go there alone this time around. I went with my elder brother. So we queried the man, and the ophthalmologist on ground. I asked him what's going to be the efficacy of the operation. He said it's 50-50. Wow. So my brother was asking me, have I had one? He said, yeah, I had him right. So what do we do? I said, there's no choice than for us to give it a try too. As at then, that was 2005. They give me the bill of 0.6 million or thereabout. Yeah, 0.6 million for the surgery.
600,000.
I obliged. I went home and prepared for the operation. I came for the operation too. Lo and behold, my brother, as I came in, that's how I came out too. The same thing happened. No changes. That's how I face it afresh. That's how I was launched into a new world since 2005.
We're going to that new world. Like I said earlier, you realize that if you are following it, it's a developing, interesting human angle story with my guest. He's popularly known as Emperor. He's visually impaired, like you heard, since 2005. A new world. He said Adekunle, Adeyinka is his real name, but believe it, this is someone whose story will also inspire you. It will, out of the sentiment or emotion that will be attached, or the empathy, you will have a lot to learn. We'll go into the new world. Again, we are not likely to end it today, the story. It will be in part before the new world, from Kaduna, like you said, to so many places, ending it up in Ibadan. You were living alone.
No, I was living with my dad and mom.
You were not married.
No, it was after my school days that when I started working on my own. That's when I got married.
Okay, in Ibadan.
Yes, that was in
Okay. So before then, when you have learned how to work on vehicle shield, vehicle windscreen, and all those stuff. So before this new world, that's what I'm going to call it. You were living alone in Ibadan, or living with some people in Ibadan.
I was living with my mother, my wife, and some people in my area too.
Okay, in Ibadan, which side of Ibadan?
I'm living at Okeado.
Or you must be a rascal person.
Apology
to those who live there.
No,
that's
really.
what we heard. Okeado, Molete.
Then we used to call my area Okeado Republic.
So here I come. I said so that you must be with due respect for those in that area. So I was live then.
Yeah, life was.
But what I'm trying to do is I want to see that transition to
from
the new
an
world.
old world to the new world.
So how was life in Ibadan when you were still agile and you did not have this visual problem?
Sincerely speaking, my brother, it was all well. All well. I was having it. It was full of fun because due to the nature of my job, I come into contact with different types of people on a daily basis. So I've never had any regret during all those times before the unforeseen happened. So it was all fun true. I must be fair to you.
So how many kids do you have?
I'm having two, a girl and a boy.
All right. Now, how did you find yourself in Avesta? And why did you come to Avesta?
What really happened?
You have said you are from here. From
Yeah,
Avesta.
I'm a
You were
native.
not there.
I'm a native of
You are
Adekunle.
a Sonu person.
That by birth,
By
I'm a
birth,
Sonu
you are a
person by
Sonu
birth.
person.
But originally, I'm from Ayodo, as I said, both parents. So after the challenge, I told you it started when I was at Ibadan. So after the two operations I had, I don't know where to start from. I was indoor this fateful Wednesday on radio. That day, what I had was a very bad, how will I call it? A very bad experience, so to speak, because that was the day I was having it in mind that there's nothing left again in this world. Let me take my life.
So you were contemplating
I was
suicide.
contemplating suicide that Wednesday. But as fate will have it, I just picked up my rechargeable radio and I put it on. I tuned to a PCOS station that day. So the presenter that launched his program that afternoon, the question he was asking was, why do you want to take your life? The life that you are not the one that gave it to yourself.
So it was that he was speaking to you.
Directly speaking to me, my brother. And I have to adjust my position. What's this man saying? Did he know what is happening to me? So after his program for that afternoon, I discovered that it's not worth it. I left the station.
It was not worth taking
It was not
one's
worth
life.
taking one's life.
Okay.
I left that station because I'm a radio person. I love listening to radio. So I switched from that radio to another station. Getting to that other station too, what I had was the program was to feature an old man that is celebrating his 50 years of blindness. Wow. So what is so spectacular about your...
Is it accidental? Is it
I
natural?
don't just know.
Is it...
I don't just know. I was questioning myself when they said at the introduction, they said they are introducing a man to us today. He's celebrating his 50 years of blindness. Celebrating. What celebrating in blindness? Again, I adjusted my seat to listen to his own side of the story. So when I heard the story, it was the story of one chief, S.A. Adekunle from Ijebu. Wow. That was when the whole thing on me changed. I now took the man's phone number. I called after the program to explain myself to him that I'm also in so condition. The man said it's no problem, and if I can pay him a visit at his place. He said no problem. I went.
In Ibadan,
No, I stayed in Ibadan. He was in Ijebu. He was in Ijebu. So I traveled down to Ijebu with my pastor to go and visit him. When we got there, the Baba interrogated me. We talked. He asked after my age. Then he said he will not advise me to go to any other school because there's nothing I will do with the certificate. He said I'm already in my 40s. So he now said there is this school in Lagos. They call it Farmcraft Institute for the Blind. It's a federal government institute where they rehabilitate people with impairment, visual impairment. So he said if I would not mind, he now asked from the ministry when next they are going to admit. So the man at the other end told him, so that's how he put my name for the next set of people that will be going. That was 2008, January. To the glory of God, I attended that institute. And my brother, when I got there, definitely I know there is a change, a total change in my life, because the rehabilitation center really helped me a lot. That's where we learn how to work independently. We learn some trade. So many trades were taught over there. So, and I now believe that I'm not alone in this situation because during my set we are 125 on
for that training.
session training from different states in Nigeria. That's how I start a new life entirely. So the program is a year program. So after the program, I now have to be settled at Adekunle because that was my home base. I now have to come back to Adekunle after this weekend.
2009.
That's 2009. I go back to Adekunle February 2009.
Interesting. Yes, if you have just joined us, this is Nstv. We are broadcasting from our Ogun State studio here at the Central Business District of Abeokuta. Outlook. That's a program where we bring to the fore to the public stories, interesting, touching, sympathetic, empathetic. We also want to say an emotional stories of people living with disability. And this morning we have the man that is famous. I'm sure he does not like politics. If you have contested elections, you have been a senator or honorable. But we have the public honorable given to him, Adekunle, Adeyinka, telling us his story of how he got it. He was not born blind. It happened. He had cataract. It's sudden when the entire vision disappeared in 2005 while he was already working independently in Ibadan. He contemplated suicide, like he said. But like I said, is it accident? Is it spiritual intervention? According to him, he just opened the radio station and the presenter started his introduction of that program with a direct question: why do you want to commit suicide? And explain why it does not worth it. And that's exactly what the Emperor was contemplating at that point. And that led to so many other things. Got himself into the rehabilitation center in Lagos, returned to his hometown of Abeokuta in 2009, and had a new world. Before then, the life of Emperor was exciting. I believe it, if you know Emperor today, Emperor remains independent. He does almost everything by himself, from moving around to cooking and everything. He's a big man. Emperor, there are so many things we are going to talk. Let's talk about this NGO that you have. What does it entail? What has it been doing?
Thank you, my brother. Since the very day I had a program of Chief S.A. Adekunle, as I told you in my narration, I now thought of it on my own that if not for this chief, I don't know what would have happened to my life. Maybe I would have rotten at home. So I now gave it a thought that I should also come out and fend for people, look for people outside that are in same condition but don't know the direction where to go. But unfortunately, the fund to carry out this is not on my side. But I tried my best possible. I was given a slot on a radio in Ogun State, OGBC. They gave me a slot of 15 minutes where I sensitize people on these disability issues. So on one of this program, somebody listened to the program. So he called my number and he asked for the person I interviewed on that program that he would like to lend his hand of help on the person. So he requested for two of them. I gave him names. I never knew he was serious about it. Lo and behold, he now said, I picked a guy that was also physically challenged. He's having problem with his hand and leg, partial stroke. So, but he has learned the trade of this barbing. And he said he would like to establish him
Salon.
a salon. So we started. The because the man remains anonymous. So
Okay.
he sent him money. I went to the guy was in Ilaro. I went to Ilaro to go and secure a shop for him from a lawyer. I entered into the agreement, tenancy agreement. So we paid for the shop a year rent. After the year rent, we called on the furniture maker to do the furniture that is required in the shop. We did that. So the second disbursement was to go and buy the equipment, which I did single-handedly. So I took it to Ilaro for commissioning, for dedication, so to speak. We did with the mother of the chap. The mother was crying. While she was praying, she was crying because she never expected such a thing. Moreover, what made her to be crying was a fellow challenged person doing this to her son. So I told her, Madam, it wasn't from me. God just used my channel to help your son. So we did. And the boy kickstarts the shop. To the glory of God, I monitored him. The last time I visited him, the guy has changed. He has, to his own credit today, he has 2 apprentices under him.
So you're already self-employed.
Employing people. So that gave joy to me. And the other person was a what do you call it? Spinal cord injury victim. She had an accident, a hit and run accident. So after the accident, she was already into this tailoring of a thing. So she believes she can continue with her trade. But unfortunately, the pains cannot allow her to do that. So she now decided that she would like to be selling all these drinks. So we got her a shop too, and a deep freezer, and gave her some cash to kickstart the program. She's also doing well now. So at this, I now look at it that we can do more if we can find people that are willing to assist. So I now floated that organization. We call it New Era Initiative for People Living with Disability. After commissioning the program, the foundation rather, I now thought of it that my people that are outside, not every one of them have the privilege of doing what I am doing at present. So I now called on them because that foundation is not for the visually impaired alone. We have the
people living
with disability, yes. We have the hearing impaired and speech impaired too. The physically impaired, that is those that have challenge with their feet and hand. The visually impaired, all the clusters are inclusive in that foundation. So we start meeting, deliberating. So we now look at it that this present time, what we need is we need people that are supposed to be skilled, not just giving out items for them as empowerment.
They should also
that
be
does
able
not
to
work.
fish themselves.
That is not working. At times when you give it out to them, they resell it. So out of our own deliberation, we now thought of it that anybody that is going to be empowered, we should give it. It should be a skill-based empowerment.
So you set up this monitoring mechanism to
monitor after learning the trade, just the way I did for that guy, the barbing guy. So as I speak with you presently, we are having 4 different skills learning members that are learning presently. We just put them ahead that they should go and learn the skill, that by the grace of God, before the conclusion of their skill, we will get money to support and establish them too. If we can do that bit by bit, I believe we are going to eradicate the society of street begging and nuisance.
Well, how would you want to describe the level of response from people, individuals, government, groups, to this your initiative?
Sincerely yours, my brother, for now, we have not been getting a very good response from the public. All we've been doing is just as if we are maneuvering between ourselves, because among those my members that we are together, we have some of them that are presently working with the government. So we are just squeezing out of ourselves. We are using our own oil to fry
Squeezing it,
ourselves.
how do they call it on the street to get your way. All right, yes, this is Nstv. The program is called Outlook, where we bring interesting, inspiring stories of people living with different forms of physical disability to you, to inspire you, to learn from. Just like I'm sure you will have heard Adeyinka, Adekunle, popularly known as Emperor, talk about his life, his transition from what is regarded as the old world to a new world. His NGO, despite his own condition, is determined, willing, and has been doing it, supporting and helping other physically challenged people to survive. Because there's no question about it. Living with any form of disability in Nigeria must be very tough. True or false?
That's very true.
All right. We thank everybody who has joined us this morning on the program. It's a promise, Emperor. We have not finished with Emperor's story. We will continue sometime next week by the grace of God. Nagode, Emperor.
So now.
Okay. Dele Ayodo is my name. Have a wonderful day.